The Victory segment presented and brought to you by Take Into the Max Sports Podcast with your host, Max Murphy. And with this segment, I can officially say with my co-host, Pat Murphy. How we doing?
We're feeling amazing. I mean, as good as you can feel being 3-0.
Really is.
Are we the best team in football? Who cares? Who knows? I mean, we're just buzzing right now. So full throttle, Vikings to the moon. What a time to start this little segment, this little offshoot of our podcast. What a time to be alive as a Vikings fan. Thanks for tuning in.
To be loved. Oh my gosh. 3-0. Who would have thought? Not me.
Not me. We're here and we're happy.
Who would have thought?
You got to go into every single Viking season. You got to go in expecting the worst, hoping for the best. But especially this year, and Sam Darnold, Kevin O'Connell, B-Flow have not disappointed. Let's get into it.
I just want to give a little background and introduction. This segment is for you diehard Vikings fans that are on YouTube, Spotify, RSS, Apple Podcasts, you name it, you'll get the podcast. It's just kind of, we're just brainstorming in the car ride on the way to the Texans game. Had the great fortune and had the great time in Minneapolis for that game together. We're just brainstorming. We're like, what? I mean, we're already spending 10 to 15 minutes every podcast episode. Like,
I wear a jersey every Vikings jersey every podcast. So yeah, let's just.
And there's other Vikings podcasts out there, and I don't want it to be the main podcast. Like, I like the other stuff we talk about, but I mean, it definitely has to be its own segment. The Victory, are you kidding me? And it's gonna be every Monday. Most of the recordings will be in the evening, so you can watch on Tuesdays, or if you're up late on Mondays before you gotta go work on Tuesday or school on Tuesday. But yeah, just a little segment that it's not going to be our crazy 45-minute long, hour and a half long, like episode 63 that we're going to have here pretty soon on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, like I said. But it's just going to be a short little 20-minute recap of the game, preview for the next week, and we hope it's kind of fun for you guys because we're going to have fun with it. So let's get right into it. I say we recap this just spectacular, amazing game. From the first play of the game, I mean, the defense just picked up right where they left off versus the 49ers, and honestly versus the Giants too. Mm-hmm. It was just right from the get-go, which I love because you saw what happened to the Dallas Cowboys. I mean, you see it every game, every week, but you see what happens when you start slow. The Dallas Cowboys made a game at the end, but because they started slow, they couldn't get back into it and win, right? With the Vikings this week, and I feel like the last 2 weeks too, all 3 games so far this season, they've started off fast and hungry and mean. And I don't know what type of little motivation speech Brian Flores gives to the boys, but I wish you would, when I wake up and get out of bed every day to go to work, I wish Brian Flores was right there giving me a hype speech.
He was mic'd up in the Niners game. And if anybody wants to go watch that video, it's incredible. He's very motivational, makes you want to run through a brick wall. Not only are we going to recap this game, let's recap the last 2. I personally thought we were going to win about 3 games all year. We're already at 3 games. In dominant fashion, almost of every single game. Our defense has been a top defense in the NFL. B-Flow and Kevin O'Connell got these boys ready. We don't have the most talent in the NFL, but we're playing as a team and we're playing fast. And it is so fun to watch because the expectations this year were pretty much 0. And now they're through the roof.
That's right.
So very fun.
Here's what I was thinking about on the car ride back to Medora this morning. How eerily similar was this game to the 49ers game? When you think about it, they jumped out fast. The defense dominated the game. They got after Brock Purdy. They got after C.J. Stroud.
Created turnovers.
The offense didn't need to do anything special other than J.J. had that huge touchdown, but they were scoring at will.
Right.
I think it was so similar, other than the final score, which was 20-13 with the Niners. We talked about it wasn't that close, as the score said. And then this final score, what was it, like 31-7? I don't even remember. 34-7?
Yeah, the only difference in this game compared to the Niner game was that Aaron Jones fumble and that Sam Darnold pick. We had no turnovers in this game, correct?
That's correct.
And we had 2 turnovers in the Niners game. Those were the only other than that, we blew out the Niners. Really.
Yep.
We could have. It was just silly mistakes by Sam Darnold for the one. Aaron Jones, you're on the one. He's trying to get, I get it, he's trying to make a play, trying to get in the end zone, but we didn't need those points. We needed at least 3. And they took the ball down the field and scored like a 98-yard drive or 99-yard drive, which was killer. But it was, like you said, very similar. Our defense played very similar. Sam Darnold played very similar. Yeah, we're looking at a good spot right now. Defense is buzzing.
Yeah, I love to see it. I just love that they didn't slow down. They didn't hold up. The crazy thing, I think, with this team compared to last year or the last couple years, or no, actually, we talked about it in the car ride with my dad. When we went 13-3 with Kirk Cousins, how many of those games were one possession?
Oh, it was like, I think Kirk Cousins maybe set the NFL record for
10 or
fourth
11?
quarter comebacks.
Yeah.
In that year, and they were all one possession games. All of our wins were one possession games, I believe, that year. So it was like 11 or 12, 13 wins, I'm pretty sure.
And okay, I know the Niners is technically one possession game. All 3 of these games, the Vikings scare me to death every single week. I get so nervous whether I'm at the game where we were just at or when I'm watching on TV. The first 3 weeks I haven't been nervous for one single play of the game.
Yeah, it's a different vibe, 100%. So back when Kirk Cousins, 3 years ago, when we were 13-4, when we finished, we didn't have a defense that year. Kirk Cousins had to score 30-something points every game. Ed Donatel, a.k.a. Ed Donashell, was an absolute liability for this franchise. So it was Kirk Cousins winning the game by a field goal. Kirk Cousins coming back, winning games by 3 points to 7 points every single time. So it's a completely different year. Our point differential being 13-4 that year, meaning we have 9 more wins than losses. Our point differential was like 12 going into that last game. Our point differential right now is plus 55 through 3 games. It's a completely different scenario here. Different scenario.
Hey, we'll get into our little optimistic, pessimistic sides of us, but the one, and not every single game is going to be like this where we're going to blow them out, obviously. I wish it was that easy. I wish I didn't have to worry about any game, a snap of the ball. And we'll get into the optimistic, pessimistic side, but it just, like you say, has a different feel. I think it has a different feel it always starts at the quarterback and trickles down with the team. Just by having Sam Darnold compared to Kirk Cousins, you see it so far through 3 weeks when the pocket collapses. Sam Darnold is either rolling out or getting rid of it, which I think we'll get into can be the bad side, and we can maybe see a regression there. Mm-hmm. But Kirk Cousins is going down every single time. With Kirk Cousins going down every single time, did we not see it last night in the Kansas City game? You get stripped.
I don't miss that guy. I don't miss him. After watching that game,
not one bit.
I do not miss him. He had a couple throws to the end zone. That last, was it a 3rd or 4th down play where he tried to float it in there?
Yeah.
Horrible. Terrible.
And I think that's really where other than the defense being a lot more ferocious and fast this year, I think the biggest difference is, literally the quarterback. Like, Sam Darnold is no Jane Daniels, Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, but honestly, what I've seen through 3 weeks is when the pocket collapses, he handles it so much better than Kirk Cousins.
I do have to disagree with you saying it's top down, quarterback down. I think our vibe of our team right now is the 2017 Minnesota Vikings, where we had a stellar defense and a mediocre offense. Granted, we have great players on offense, but our defense is putting our offense in good positions to score points. Other than that 98-yard touchdown, they've had a couple good drives, but for the most part, it's been on short fields that they're scoring points. I think it all starts on our defense right now. I think our defense is our identity right now until we have a good franchise quarterback.
I'll agree, and I'll say Brian Flores is the MVP of the team so far. However, through 3 weeks, if the NFL season stopped today, if we got COVID again, obviously don't wish that would happen. If the NFL stopped today, Sam Darnold's your MVP of the league. So that's why I say it starts with the quarterback and goes down. But I'm with you about the identity and the defense balling out. But when you look at the stats and you look at everything with the quarterback, I can't believe I'm saying this because I was the one who fought people and my dad. And I mean, everyone I talked to about the Vikings season saying Sam Darnold isn't even a top 30 quarterback. He's outside the top 32 quarterbacks in the league. And I also said we would maybe scratch out 3 to 4 wins. I can't believe I'm saying it, but I mean, stats wise, through 3 weeks, he's the MVP of the league, and it's a whole lot different than Kirk.
Okay, but it also comes back to what I was saying about the defense giving us short fields. So Sam Darnold had about 200 yards passing last game and 4 touchdowns. We started on the 40-yard line. Actually, we'll start at the beginning of the game. The pick, we started on about the 20-yard line. There was another kick that went out of bounds. We started on the 40-yard line. I can't remember them all, but there was short fields. Aaron Jones helped a ton. He had over 100 yards rushing, so Sam Darnold didn't need to put that many yards through there. But having short fields,
field goal was another.
Yeah, that was another short field for us. So Sam Darnold didn't need to do much moving the ball. He did put the ball in the end zone. Had a great throw to Johnny Munt. Great throw to Jalen Naylor. Justin Jefferson was wide open for that one. It was a screen pass to Aaron Jones, but he had a couple of really good throws to the end zone.
Dude, it'll be interesting to see the first shootout the Vikings have. If the defense were to get in a shootout, if they can't get stops, is Sam Darnold going to play as well as he does when the defense
when he's having to force stuff? When he has to force stuff instead of having it them looking at the run, if that makes sense.
Like the Bills currently have, I think, like 37 points through 3 quarters. If we were to play the Bills and or an offense like the Bills and we get in shootouts, can Sam Darnold hang? I couldn't stand, disliked Kirk Cousins with the passion. Can't be happier he's gone. I will say when we got into shootouts, Kirk Cousins could hang because he was able to put points on the board.
Right.
And obviously having Justin Jefferson and Stephon Diggs back then helps. But we'll see when Sam Darnold, because there's going to be shootouts and there's going to be really low scoring games. So,
so we're 12 minutes and 10 seconds in here. Let's run to our first segment. Lead us off, Maxie boy.
3 stars of the game.
Yeah. This is the first time we've done this, but we're doing 3 stars of every game. When it's a win, we're doing the 3 stars of the game. When it's a loss, it's the 3 losers of the game. Or 3 stars to blame. You could say that as well. But this week, obviously a great win. So it's going to be 3 stars. Give me it's going to go third, second to first, third most, second most, first most.
This will be my only one of the 3 where can I break the rules and say Brian Flores?
Yeah, that's fine. No, you can say that.
Okay, because there's 2 clear-cut individual stars of the game, and I couldn't find a third because I think everyone on the defense should get the star.
Right. Yeah.
Brian Flores is my third. Dude, like Brock Purdy summed it up perfectly saying your scheme is crazy, bro. I think they got just a fistful all game long. Brian Flores had them blitzing. How many sacks did the team have? Like at least 8 or 9.
I know Bernard had 3 himself.
Yeah, so. It was ridiculous. Anyways, Brian Flores, you're one of my game balls, one of my stars of the game, my third one.
Totally agree, and he deserves all the credit in the world. And I hope we can keep that man for as long as possible. Pay him what he wants. The Wilfs, you got money. If you're listening to this, look at me. Am I looking at the camera? Wilfs.
You're looking at the camera.
Keep my boy. B-Flow. Need him. All right. My third star of the game, the guy who flipped into the end zone, the guy who had his first 100-yard rushing game as a Minnesota Viking, the guy who took the pressure off of Sam Darnold when we needed him to, who's looked amazing in the screen game this year, Aaron Jones, being 30 years young or whatever he is, he's 29, 30 years old. For being 30 years young, that boy can still play. And as long as he stays healthy, he is the heart and soul of our offense, I think, right now. Taking obviously, the stress off Sam Darnold, who hasn't had a starting role in a couple of years. He's got to Sam Darnold is going to get better as the year rolls on. But right now, let Aaron Jones, let our run game take a lot of stress off him. Aaron Jones.
The one thing I'm going to get into him because I'm going to spoil this one. He is one of my 2 individual stars. The one thing that was really impressive about this game was not losing confidence in the big fumble they had versus the Niners, which everyone scrutinized him for, rightfully so. We did too.
Right.
We didn't even need to see Ty Chandler because Aaron Jones was playing so well. Like when you have a two-head monster, it's great. But when you have one guy like an Adrian Peterson who can just carry your team,
Right.
like that is huge. I mean, it saves Ty Chandler's health. It gives Aaron Jones more confidence from that fumble. And it's a huge bounce back game from him. I'll talk about him later, but that's just what I wanted to add there.
Yeah. Gotcha. Your second star. Or do you want me to go? I can go.
Yeah, you go.
All right. My second star of the game, against his bitter rival, against the team he used to play for. This boy saw CJ Stroud in practice every day. This guy saw that offensive line every day. He made the most of it. Jonathan Grenard got to the quarterback 3 times, ripped CJ. That one tackle he had was ferocious. Loved it. Set the tone for the game. Jonathan Grenard definitely gets a game ball from me. My second star of the game. And then also Brian Flores attached to that. His scheme is obviously getting guys to the quarterback, getting blitzes. Jonathan Grenard, hell of a day. Need you every week, baby. 3 sacks, 3 quarterback hits.
Look, sorry, I wish I could highlight it all. But Jonathan Grenard, 4 tackles, 3 sacks, 3 tackles for losses, obviously 3 solo. I mean, 3 quarterback hits. Like, dude, he had himself a revenge game against, like you said, his former team. I mean, just a huge day. He's my second star too. By the way, we're doing this blind, so it's awesome that we both agree on that. He's my number 2 star. Like we said, 3 sacks, was just in CJ Stroud's lap all day. Love to see it, Jonathan Grenard. That's why we paid you a lot of money for that game right there.
Yeah.
And hopefully some meaningful playoff games in the future. Number 1, Aaron Jones for me, dude. He had this is tough to do as a running back. He was the highest ranked Minnesota Viking PFF, and he had, oh shoot.
Were you saying how many yards he had rushing? Over 100.
No, dude, I lost it here. I had all the Vikings, or the top PFF Vikings.
No, don't worry about it.
Anyways, you want to hear a stat line, dude? This is just crazy.
Let's hear it.
19 carries. Like I said, Ty Chandler only had 7 carries because Aaron Jones took the workload.
Eating.
19 carries, 102 yards for over 5 yards per rush, along of 40 yards, and he should have had 2 touchdowns because he had 1 receiving, and he should have had another one where he got pulled down
at like the half-yard line. Yeah,
and then 5 receptions, 46 yards, dude, in 6 targets, and he only dropped 1 ball, or maybe his missed thrown. Either way,
he's got
a beast of a game, dude.
Yeah, he's got a ton of tread left on those tires, and I'm really happy to see it because he's been pretty injury-prone throughout his career. So praying that he can stay healthy. Our offense is different with him in the lineup, that's for sure.
Yes, sir.
My first star, I'm also breaking the rules a little bit, giving some props to our head coach. Kevin O'Connell has these guys. He's got a ton of new people in the room. He's got a brand new quarterback in the room, a ton of new defensive guys in the room. After coming off a 7-10 season where we had backups after backups at quarterback, just an absolute shit show last year of quarterbacks, that quarterback carousel. He has these guys believing not only that we're a good team, that we could do something special, like win playoff games, maybe even win a Super Bowl, which is crazy for me to say, but he's got these guys believing that, which is half the battle. He's got Sam Darnold, who's literally never shown anything in his life in the NFL level.
A shell of himself for his first 4 years.
Right. Playing at an MVP level. Kevin O'Connell, number 1 star always. But then after you see those post-game speeches, give him 2 number 1 stars.
Gives you chills. I hope we reach not just the younger audience that we can go text our friends, hey, go watch this podcast. I hope we reach some older audience, middle-aged, whatever. But if the older audience doesn't have social media, you better get on Instagram and go watch these post not the press conferences, but his post speeches in the locker rooms. Maybe they post it on YouTube and stuff.
They do,
on Instagram.
Vikings do, yeah.
Dude, it's so good.
Such a good speaker. Yeah,
I would even I would even love to hear his speeches after losses. They won't post those, but I'd love
Right.
to hear them after losses because those have to be just motivational, as touching as you can get after what could be a bad loss.
Okay.
All right, let's get into so we got pessimistic Pat and optimistic Max. We were thinking of like M's synonyms for optimistic, maybe like magnificent or just like mood is good. Whatever. Optimistic Max, pessimistic Pat. I'd say I'm a more pessimistic fan than you are, but it rhymes. So let's hear
I'm pretty pessimistic as well. Not gonna lie.
You had us making the playoffs, bro.
Okay, that was on hope, but no, I'm usually pretty pessimistic.
So good.
I always think the Vikings are going to hurt me. I have never thought in my life the Vikings are going to make me happy ever. So this is my pessimistic take. And then we're just doing this for week to week. We'll do pessimistic things we'll talk about other pessimistic things, I'm sure, during the podcast. But this is my one like pessimistic thing that I'm not looking forward to this week against the Green Bay Packers. Sam Darnold, obviously, we've talked about him a lot. He has looked good, right? He's looked better than he's ever looked in his career. But he's made so many stupid mistakes this year that haven't turned into turnovers. He has probably more turnover-worthy plays. That's a stat that they started doing a couple of years ago, turnover-worthy plays without a turnover than probably any quarterback in the NFL right now. I can think of a handful offhand that have already happened this year that haven't turned into turnovers, like that pitch that he tried to do forward in the game this week against Houston.
And then the backwards pass.
Last week, he had a couple of things where he would try to hand it off. The guy was in his way, tried to throw it over his head, almost another turnover. He does freak out sometimes. So Sam Darnold isn't as good as we think he is right now. It's very much a system, which is spectacular. I'm giving as much credit to Sam Darnold as I am to Kevin O'Connell being the guy in his ear with all these plays. My pessimistic thing is that he's really just the ginger Carson Wentz, and he does stupid shit all the time. He's going to make some big mistakes and turn it over this week against the Packers. It's a rivalry game on the road, probably a little bit cooler weather outside. He's going to make some big mistakes. Not saying he's going to cost us the game, but some of those turnover-worthy plays eventually are going to actually be turnovers.
So I'm going to ask you, or I'm going to ask the audience too, do we think, because he was a Heisman-type candidate at USC, he was a first-round pick for a reason, he's a great quarterback at USC, didn't do that kind of thing. Do we think the Jets, when he saw ghosts, whatever, and with the Panthers, because he was under pressure so much and always had to make that play, did it come from that? Or do we think it's from like him growing up or like him always doing – because we didn't see that at USC. He was a Heisman-type candidate quarterback. He was great for 3 years. He was a first-round pick. I want to ask you, or I guess the audience too, if it came from when he was seeing ghosts with the Jets or Carolina.
I think it's a scheme thing. I think it's a Kevin O'Connell scheme things. He schemes people wide open. He tells you what to look for. And if you see a certain coverage, you know where you're going with the football. It's easy for you to make decisions. He gives you checkdowns. Kirk Cousins looked better with us than he ever looked with Mike Zimmer. As soon as Kevin O'Connell came, he looked way better, won more games, looked more confident. It was probably an old Jet scheme, Panther scheme, probably bad offensive lines, is not as many weapons. Even so, like Nick Mullins looked okay last year. We had backup. Josh Dobbs looked okay last year.
For
we had
a while,
horrible quarterbacks come in and look good because
Right.
Kevin O'Connell schemes people open. He's a fantastic person to have in your ear up until 15 seconds on the shot clock, whatever, game clock. I think that's why Sam Darnold's playing better. I think if Sam Darnold was still in the Jets or still on, I don't know, the Commanders, he'd be having a horrible year.
You know what I do love, though? Not to say they're okay or not to say that I don't want to see – obviously, I don't want to see them happen in the future. They're those dumb mistakes that he's making that aren't turning into turnovers, like you just said. They're not like he's missing like someone wide open or throwing into double coverage. It's all when the pocket collapses. It's not like he's getting back there, going through his reads, and then he's like, oh, double coverage. Zing. Because we would see Kirk Cousins either overthrow or underthrow people or throw into double or triple coverage that would turn into picks. You're like, why would he throw that, Kirk? These are all like either strip sack or when the pocket's collapsing.
Yeah.
Anyways.
Yeah, him trying to throw, like he had a couple plays this week too where he was getting tackled and still trying to throw the ball down the field. You can't do that in the NFL. hopefully Kevin will be in his ear and saying, dude, you got to eat that. That is, if it's a big game in a big spot and he throws a pick like that, I mean, that's just absolute Carson Wentz. That's the most Carson Wentz thing I've ever seen in my life.
Alrighty, optimistic Max. I got two things here. One, defense isn't slowing down. B-flow through 3 weeks, obviously we just talked about. I don't think it's going to slow down. I think they're going to keep up this intensity. And it ties into what I just said about the defense not slowing down. This ties right in. Jordan Addison, Dallas Turner, and Ivan Pace will all be back. So you get 2 of those 3 defensive line or front 7 starters that are coming back, which will help the defense to not slow down because A, you're adding depth without having these guys on the bench, and B, you're adding intensity. And you don't have to have, like, let's say, okay, Patrick Jones was on the field every single play. I don't know. Dallas Turner can now go and sub him out for a play or two, right? So you don't have these guys that are in every single snap. These 2 being back is going to be huge. And then Jordan Addison being back is going to be awesome too, because like I said, if we get into these shootouts and we're scoring without getting into shootouts, thankful for our defense, we need another receiver. And before TJ Hawkinson can return in week 5, Jordan Addison's going to really help Sam Darnold.
Whoa.
Aaron Jones and Ty Chandler can
you
keep doing their thing.
You want to kiss him. You want to marry Kirk.
I think I'd rather have
I'd rather kiss Julie. She's pretty cute, honestly.
Sam Ponder than Kirk Cousins. I'd rather have you as quarterback.
Sam Ponder, is that his wife?
I'm sorry, Christian Ponder. Sam is his wife, though.
I'd rather have her as my quarterback. You feel me? Slinging them balls.
So, yeah, optimistic for next week. Defense isn't slowing down. We're getting more guys back. And then Jordan Addison, baby. He's going to be back. Hopefully he'll be good. Hopefully he'll be healthy. Okay, another segment we're going to do before we kind of preview. I guess we'll preview just a little bit of the Packers game. We want to keep this under 30 minutes. But another little segment. Dude, we're doing random name that player. Obviously.
Hey, sorry, I cut you off. Yes, we're doing random name that player. I want you to give me a few little hints, though, so I can try to guess it instead of us just naming them. Is that cool?
Okay, so I will say we're going to have a new player every week, and hopefully you Vikings fans will know these players. I mean, you will. What doesn't help us is that we haven't watched this team. We've only watched this team. I watched and actually really known the team for 10 to 13 years. I'm 21. Yeah. You've only watched for 21 years. Probably, you've watched when you're a kid, but you don't remember those players.
Right.
Anyways, if we were 50 or 60 years old watching them go to the Super Bowl, this would be a lot better.
You'd have some deep cuts for sure.
Yeah. Unfortunately, it's going to be a little bit slim, but there's still enough guys. All right, Pat. This guy. All right, so you get 3 guesses, and I'll narrow it down every single time.
All right, bet.
So this is going to be as broad as it gets.
Bet.
This guy played on the defensive line.
Jonathan Hoven.
Nope. Okay. This guy.
I don't even know if he played D-line. I think he did.
Wore the best number to ever exist.
Jared Allen. That's too easy. Baby. That's too easy. I know. It's going to be so much harder than that.
I should have done one more broad one, but I was trying to think of his best year, what year that was. Anyways.
God, what a player, dude.
Jared Allen. So I saw the one why it made me think of Jared Allen for my random player of the week. Dude, I saw a jersey this weekend that was kind of right in front of us. That I don't know if you noticed, but it was a Jared Allen jersey. I was and it brought so many rushing memories back. He was so good. Is he in the Vikings inductee Hall of Fame? Or Ring of Honor?
I'm pretty sure he's in that Ring of Honor. Yeah, I think last year they inducted him, or 2 years ago.
That guy was such a monster.
He was a freaking monster, dude. And watching him in the old Metrodome too, where it was so loud. It was
Chad Greenway.
Crazy. Yeah, dude. Chad Greenway. I used to have a Chad Greenway jersey back when I was a young man.
And I think Everson Griffin was also on late in Jared Allen's career with the Vikings. Yeah. Everson Griffin was on the other side before he went cuckoo.
Rest in peace to his brain.
Yeah. Okay. I'm not trying to guess yours.
Dun. The Millionaire question, the song track, Millionaire soundtrack. Dun, 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 dun. Okay. This player Or number 35. Let me correct myself. Make sure he wore number 35.
Wow. Okay, I know
number 35.
I know Marcus Sherrills was in the 30s, but I think he was like 32 or 33. Actually, I'm gonna say Marcus Sherrills.
Dude, that's the biggest fucking crazy pull you've just ever had. It was Marcus Sherrills. That's
Was
so
it?
stupid. I got to think of another one now. That was so.
Let's go, baby.
That was nuts.
Let's go.
That's crazy.
Yeah, Marcus Sherrills. What? Okay, so let me ask you. Did you think of this random player because you saw what Instagram account?
It was an Instagram post.
Posted
Yeah.
like how many? Oh no, it was trivia, dude. How many? At trivia at
it was
the stadium.
Trivia at the game. How many?
Yeah.
Yes, I forgot that we looked at that together. No wonder. What an idiot.
How many punt returns did he have in his career for touchdowns? There's 2, right? Because we guessed 3.
1 at home.
1 at home
is what it was. How many home punt returns for touchdowns did he have? And it was 1. I would guess 3.
I swear he was number 32 or 33 though.
35. Wow.
Yeah.
Well, previewing the Packers game. Hopefully Jordan Love is out. I guess, I don't know. Malik Willis is playing pretty good anyway, but
yeah, that's what I wanted to ask you, Pat. Who would you rather face?
I'd rather face probably a banged up Jordan Love right now. The way we're getting at the quarterback, probably a banged up Jordan Love.
You know, I'm with you, and here's kind of like my preseason co-MVP fair because they're my preseason Super Bowl team. I would always obviously say Malik Willis, but dude, this team with Malik Willis right now, I know they've played bad opponents. They're rushing for like 300 yards a game. Like, it's stupid.
It's crazy.
How good their rushing offense is with Malik Willis. So for that reason, I'd rather face Jordan Love. If he was healthy, no way, Jose, because I think he's really good. But yeah, dude, Malik Willis he's cooking right now. Why would the Packers rush back Jordan Love? They just paid him how much money?
Yeah.
I don't think $50 million.
A lot. He's obviously one of the highest paid quarterbacks. I don't think they're going to tell us who's playing until probably Sunday morning. They don't want us to scheme either way because they're such different players.
I mean, that's fair, but I just if you're a Packers fan, the last thing I would want to see, because you have a chance at going 2-2. That's not the end of the world. If you were 0-3 to this point, I think you maybe say, all right, Jordan Love, like let's get this going. But you're 2-1, and you've not only are you 2-1, you've kicked ass with your 2 games with Malik Willis.
Right.
So it's not like I don't know.
In a good spot.
I would rather face a banged up Jordan Love, but dude, Malik Willis is.
I think probably most smart Packer fans would probably have Malik Willis play in this next game and just save Jordan Love until he's healthy. For no reason, especially the way we've been getting after the quarterback.
Yep. All righty. Well, that concludes. Yes, we kept it under 35 was my goal. 35 minutes. We kept it under it. I think we covered a lot of good stuff. That's the first good episode of
hold on. Viktory. You got to ask me about my name.
Oh, yeah. What's your name about here? Sam Darnold.
So it's Sam Darnold's MRI results, and they're good, and there's nothing wrong with his knee. So Sam Darnold obviously keeps the Vikings together as a team, just like I keep this podcast together. So that's why I named myself Sam Darnold's MRI results.
Wow. You know what's funny about that is you don't even know how to share a link on your Instagram story. So I don't know if you're sending out text messages out to your friends and family with the link. Yeah. But if you can't put on your Insta story, I don't really know what's what's weird is are you gonna be up till 1 a.m. tonight, like editing or
No, I'm kidding. I'm joking.
I know.
But hey, happy that Sam's MRI results are good.
Yes. Me too. You were a bit. I think you looked into it a little bit more than everyone else. I wasn't.
I did. I was scared.
I guess the play looked bad, but I was like, oh, he went back out there. Like
it was fine. The way that he responded to the post-game interview. Instead of saying like, "Oh, I'm all right, I'll be good," he was like, "We'll see what the results say. I don't know. I don't know if I'll practice. I don't know if I'll miss any time. We'll see what the MRI results say." I think they were kind of scared. I mean, that PCL stuff that like Jordan Love had and McCarthy.
I get
nobody knew that guy was hurt.
I get. All right, we got to keep it under 35 because that was my goal.
Much love.
So, the Viktory, episode number 1, It will be posted tonight. Monday night, you'll probably see it Tuesday. But we'll be back next Monday, hopefully for another Victory Monday.
Skol!
Oh, baby. All righty. Episode 1.
We'll be here win or lose.